And we're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 90 of the Tiki Taka Podcast. I'm your host, Peter. Today, joined by Cynthia,
Hi.
Patrick, Pat.
Oh, sorry.
Uh,
Hello.
there, there we go. All right. Also joined by Steven today.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
And, he's still here. Bruno.
Did you hear that? I was just finishing peeing. I had to zip up.
I knew it.
Unbelievable.
Ay. God
Wait, hold
save
on.
us
Let me make sure that my zipper's up
No!
properly. I don't want anything to be hanging out.
This is how you
Zip it.
start. This is how you start a podcast. Totally, 100% professional. Just how we.
Professional. This is a miniature business.
We're extremely professional, Cynthia. I don't know what you're implying. But
The
you're
only
wrong.
thing missing from that is we're very professional. Zip.
Exactly. All right. Anyway, all right. We got a lot to get to, so I'm going to let Patrick go off on his Sporting that they played Pleasant, and by the way, yours truly got the score correctly. So, yay me, because I'm awesome.
Congrats.
And
You
y'all
get
suck.
some red velvet.
Nice.
So, Sporting played a semi-strong team for that game with Patricio in goal, Coentrão, Mathieu, André Pinto, and Rodrigo Bataglia in defence. Midfield of Petrovic, Bruno Fernandes, and Brian Ruiz in the middle with Marcos Acuna and Gelson Martins on the flanks. Bastos was up front, and well, it was one of those games I could tell that Sporting were just going to come into it and do as minimum as possible to get the result and try keep legs fresh for the league game, and that's in my opinion that's what happened, and that's what took Sporting all the way to extra time after the final minutes, the 90 minutes were up. It's one of those things that sometimes it's a bit dangerous to do, because when you mix a responsibility with trying to be lax and saving energy, it sometimes it can backfire. But I think thankfully I don't think Victoria Pleasant were like of a level where they could really punish Sporting. I mean, they came close, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't like Sporting. It wasn't as if Sporting didn't have their chances as well. We had like a huge amount of chances through Brian Ruiz and whatnot, which we really should have stuck past Pleasant and finished the game off. But we didn't, and we had to take it to extra time, where Bataglia got the goal to make it 2-1. Mixed game. There was good moments and there was some bad moments, but all in all, it's just one of those things where the most important thing from Sporting's perspective is that they get the result that was desired and they make it through to the next round, and that's the position Sporting find themselves in. So from that perspective, I'm pleased with the general outcome.
All right. So, Bruno, I don't know if you want to weigh in on this game. What is he doing now?
Oh my God. Please just move on. Maybe he's actually gone pee now.
Maybe
I am not peeing. No. Not yet.
Oh my God.
What? Curly Sue
Nothing.
wants to know.
Stop. Curly Sue does not want to know.
She was very curious last week if I was peeing or not. So this
for
week
the
is
love of
only
Christ.
natural.
All of a sudden, I hear zippers. Do you mind? It's a
But
miniature
I was very
business.
disappointed. I was very disappointed with the result. To be honest with you, I was hoping for a win. I have to give Patrick some props. he did say that they're most likely going to have a very sloppy performance or very lackadaisical performance, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, it was really really bad. Um, how poorly they played, and they actually almost compromised their qualification. Um, Sporting has to at these type of games. You got to get the win for the coefficient, but it is what it is. I mean, they were able to qualify. Obviously, they have Atletico Madrid next round. That's going to take a lot more of an effort than they did this week, because this past week, if they go play Atletico, they're going to get embarrassed. Which I don't see that's going to happen. But my opinion.
All right. So I pretty much agree with what was said. I just want to ask Patrick something, but I'll ask it in the end. I want to know if Steven watched this game and if he wants to talk about it.
We're talking about the Europa League game, correct?
Yes.
I didn't watch it. I saw the highlights. I do agree with Patrick. They were a little bit lax towards the end of the game. As far as that goes, I mean, George Jesus probably just, took a bet on that. He usually does that with Sporting, where he just tries to make a gamble out of things. And, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. As far as playing Atletico Madrid, I'm going to be honest. I would want Sporting to, beat Atletico Madrid, but it's a far stretch since Atletico is one of the favorites in the Europa League to win. So we'll see how that goes.
Gonna be a tough game. Cinti, you want to say anything about this game?
I just wanted to say that with all the extra time that they had to play, Coentrão looked like he wanted to throw up, and Bazdos just needs to watch his high kicks because he's already a tall guy, so his high kick is a high kick. Almost took out a person. But yeah, so Coentrão, he looked like he wanted to throw up. I don't know if he's going to want to play. Well, now that they have, is he on the national? Because then he might not have the time off, yeah?
He dropped out.
No, he's not.
Okay, so then he can have some time off. He needs a nap. He looked sick.
He needs to give up his cigarettes.
Don't tell him how to live his life.
I'm pretty sure it's crack.
Well, if you're a professional athlete and you're smoking cigarettes, it's pretty bad.
Obviously, he's stupid.
Yeah.
Like I've said many, many times, he's a pateta.
Very pathetic.
That's not nice.
Well, I mean, there's worse insults. All right, so
He could be peeing for all you know.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so I wanted to ask Patrick just a couple of questions. First of all, I just wanted to ask what you thought about that penalty. Like, honestly, I want to know if you thought it was soft, that it was a penalty, or if it wasn't a penalty. Because
The penalty on Dost that he eventually missed.
yes.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a penalty to me. I think Dost tried to be smart about it and get in front of the contact and ask a question of the referee, and the referee ended up buying it. But if we're being honest, it's not a penalty. But it goes like that sometimes, and obviously the Victoria Pleasant's first goal as well. We didn't get the benefit of the replay during the game, but a lot of people also said that was a goal that shouldn't have counted because it was offside. But obviously, Victoria Pleasant got their goal and Doss missed his penalty. So then again, things weren't so balanced. But on the face of things, I don't think it was a penalty.
All right. And the other thing that I want to talk about, and it's something that is bothering me, and I accidentally sent it to. When I saw what he said, I accidentally sent it to the pod account instead of the group chat. But anyway, with JJ saying that, he's basically hoping that things that, like the players stick and that things work. Like, how, as a fan, how does that make you feel with his most recent statements?
Well, what do you mean in terms of if things stick?
Yeah, what is the statement he made? I don't understand.
I don't, I can't paraphrase it completely because it's from, a few days ago. But it was something basically where he would pick a certain set of players and hope that things would stick, that things would work well, Basically, let's put these guys on the field and let's hope that we come away with a good performance or a good result. And then him, the week this past week, saying that they are failing a lot of opportunities. They aren't capitalizing the opportunities because they're not training set chances. Like they're not practicing. Like what does all of these statements make you feel when looking at Porto, they had obviously they had a couple of more days because they're in the Champions League, but you didn't hear this type of complaining. And JJ now, he's saying a lot of things that even to me as a neutral gets me annoyed. So I don't know how you feel about that. So I wanted to ask you.
Like I think managers from time to time they tend to wheel out stuff like that. Obviously, as someone who's not a professional, I can't imagine what the workload is, and especially in a team like Sporting's, where it's perhaps similar at Porto. Jesus is a manager who demands so much out of a player physically, he really drains you. So in that regard, perhaps that there is something there that they can't train as they'd like. But it's also an element of covering yourself with an excuse, perhaps. But I personally think Sporting are playing well enough, so I wouldn't worry too much about that aspect.
All right. Does anybody here want to weigh in on his statements or comments?
He used to be our coach. He does this. He scapegoats to make himself look better, right? He's the brain behind the operation. He's a fucking idiot, and he's a stubborn ass old man, and that's it. You can't take whatever he wants to say. He can say a lot of shit. He said he was going to stop Benfica, and he didn't. He went to Sporting. He made it like a messy ass divorce. He left us, didn't come out the winner, so he can shove it up his ass. He's a stubborn old man. Yeah. Send him flowers. Give him my best.
Been holding that in for some time.
yeah.
I just don't like that man. I got it. Like, I wish I had his, like, maybe his cell phone number so I could call him and be like, I don't like you, mister. And fucking do something about that hair. Anyways.
That's a very predictive.
I think his hair looks better.
Unbelievable.
I think his
You
hair
think
looks
it looks
better? Now
better?
than it did at Benfica.
He used to have it. It seemed like he was dyeing it silver, and now he's just letting it be that natural where it starts to do that, like where it's just going gold. It's gross.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm feeling it.
That's nice.
You're feeling it.
Bud. I think we should dedicate a whole podcast to George's hair. That would be, that would be totally.
We could do an
and I think everybody would
just about his hair.
Yeah, I think everybody would love that.
Can you imagine?
Unbelievable. All right, so just if nobody else wants to weigh in on this, can I move on?
Yep.
All right. I was just waiting on Bruno because he's got his mic muted. But if he's got his mic muted, then it probably means that he doesn't want to say anything because he knows how to talk. So let's move on. All right. So the next game on today's episode is Benfica. They played Feirense. This game ended with the Benfica win. They won 2-0. Rafa and Raul scored both goals. Let me give you the lineup real quick. So Bruno Varela was in goal. André Almeida, Ruben Dias, Jardel, and Grimaldo across the back, with Zivko, Feiza, and Pizzi in the midfield. Servi, Jonas, and Rafa up front. And as per usual, Cynthia, what did you think about this game?
Well, we won, so yay. Actually, I do just want to sideline for a second because before our game, Estoril played Passos. And I just wanted to let Bruno know, because I don't know if Bruno saw it or not, and I didn't even talk to you about it. But Passos was doing that time wasting again. And eventually the ref got tired of it. And so this dude falls down and like he did a like blood curdling scream. Like I could hear it through the announcer talking. I was like, that's pretty impressive. And the ref was just like, get off the field, go to the side and get treated. And the stupid ass just stood up and walked over to get put back in. And so I was happy that the ref finally just, stopped letting them do that because they were doing it with a game versus Estoril. You know what I mean? So they're doing it with everybody and it's just disgusting to see that. I don't know if anybody wants to make a quick comment about that too.
That's how certain teams are. I'm not,
It's not cool.
yeah.
That's football for you.
Okay, on to our glorioso. 5th minute, we've got a flying backhand to Servi. So I don't know why that Ferenc guy was ready for like kickboxing. It was pretty impressive. Then there's a red card to Ferenc around the 40-minute mark. A lot of people thought it was soft. He barrels down Rafa. I think he shouldn't be so aggressive when he's already got a yellow. So it wasn't a straight red. It was the
Soft.
second yellow.
Very soft.
You know
think
what I
the
want to
first
Very,
one may
very
have been.
soft.
I knew Bruno was gonna weigh in on this. So Cynthia, let me just say that I was on Twitter, and I saw, some people that were actually in the stadium that said that, I believe it was the left back, right? That the left back had issues throughout the whole first half, that he wasn't 100% fit. And if you want to blame someone, blame the coach for keeping the player in when he's unhealthy and he wasn't able to make the tackle. Because Thiago had to make the tackle because the left back couldn't make the tackle. So if you want to blame someone, you got to blame the coach. You can't blame the referee because, he decided that he was a second yellow and he gave it a second yellow. Was it a little bit harsh to give a second yellow there? Yeah, it was, but it was a yellow card tackle. So he gave the yellow and it's in the rules. Just wanted to.
Soft.
Oh my god.
Go take a pee. I'm not done talking about my beefy.
At least he's
So-
not a wrestling fan.
Soft.
Geez, stop. I also wanted to say to all of our supporters, they've got to bring it down a notch with the pyro and the flashbangs. Like, it enables a lot of time wasting. They've got to clean it up. People pretend that they got debris on them, or they actually do have debris on them, and then we get fined, and we're already broke. So just stop it. We go.
I'd
into
like to
halftime.
see. I'd like to see what the suspension's actually going to look like, if there is
For
any.
what? Sorry. For the
Because this is not the first, second, or third time that this has happened with the Benfica fans, and IPDJ have to step up and have to do something about it, which they don't do. See, if this was Porto, they would come in and they would suspend the leader, and they would do this and they would do that. Fines galore, blah 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 blah. But
Why are you
it's
laughing at him?
Because he's
they
funny.
roll an eye. They roll a few blind eyes.
No,
So,
we
I mean,
get
this is-
ridiculous fines, 826 euros and 3 cents.
Listen, but the thing is that there's rules in place where the stadium should be closed for Benfica, and it just doesn't happen. It continues to happen week after week after week on road games, not on home games, because home games, due to the emails, we already figured out that they can't do anything. But on the road games, they have carte blanche to do whatever they want.
I'm still waiting for a certain team that set a stadium on fire, to get some repercussions. That never happened. So tone it down a notch first, and then,
Who, Spartan you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, a team that tried to burn down the stadium, that's totally, fair, and they didn't get any.
They've had to pay for all the damages.
Yeah, that's great, Well,
here's the problem,
fans still
Peter.
went
You're
to
overlooking
the stadium every single week.
But
What?
Peter, you're overlooking something. This only happened once. Now,
It happened once.
for Benfica,
Obviously,
this is like
it happened
every
once.
other
That's
week.
like all right, let's not compare throwing at them to trying to set a whole stadium on fire. I was just saying
Peter,
that if you
I'm
want
gonna
to
try to
ban
break
people
it down
from
to you.
going to,
I'm gonna break it down to you.
Look. I know what you're saying, but Porto fans do it too. Every single listen. The issue here is more with how security works than anything else, because the fact that we have security guards searching people instead of actually the police, because it's illegal for security guards to search the people, but whatever. They don't do a thorough job, and all this shit keeps coming in, and that's the biggest issue is that, and then the fans are complete assholes. Go on. Somebody was going to talk.
I think that happens with most stadiums too, Peter, because the other day I was in Barcelona. I went to go watch the Barcelona-Chelsea game.
Epa.
Right, and then I had a bag, And I opened the bag up to the security guard. He took one look. He didn't check all the pockets. And for all I know, I could have had flares in there. I mean, securities do not do a good job of checking anybody. So I think that's what most clubs in the football world.
Maybe not you guys.
Yeah.
I'm a lady, and we just went to a Toronto FC game, so it's not even the same caliber as anything that we're talking about. And they checked my purse. They checked all the pockets. They're like, any other pockets? I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, and my purse, you guys are now like, well, purses are huge. My purse is one of those that is very thin against the body. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Did they follow you into the bathroom?
No.
She was like, I was waiting on that.
Yep. No, Bruno. No.
Just checking.
But, I just didn't want. I know, Bruno, and I would agree with you if everybody got their comeuppance, and that doesn't happen in Portugal. So it shouldn't be Benfica being the one getting punished. It shouldn't be Porto being the one getting punished. It should be everybody.
No, I'm talking to any fans that listen. Bring it down a notch. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for a chair to be thrown on the field. Yes, I know time wasting is happening. What do you think is going to happen when you throw a chair on the field? We're going to get to it right away? No, now we're going to lie down. The chair hit my leg, get the ambulance.
Makes it even worse.
Man. Yeah, it's fucking annoying.
All right, so Cynthia, sorry, we'll cut you off. So,
Yeah, Bruno, you done?
No, I'll go wait till my turn.
Okay, great. Great. I'm gonna put the headset down when it's your turn. I'm gonna walk away. So we go into halftime.
She's gonna play
Take a pee
Pokemon.
break.
I might.
You should take a pee break.
All right. No one needs to know about your pee times. Stop it. So halftime 0-0. 56 minutes in, Rule subbed in, and I don't know why he didn't start because I like Rule. At 58 minutes, he scored, which is again why he should start. But anyways, why do you sigh, Peter?
Because I'm not the biggest Hull fan.
Mute your mic. I'm not done talking about my team.
So you get my reaction.
No, I don't want your reaction. At 60 minutes, there's no more Mr. Nice Guy. Fadens start being more aggressive. However, they stopped wasting so much time because the goalkeeper was like super wasting time and being shitty, and then the Fadens coach was being shitty. If any balls came near them, they would let them go out and whatever. The typical time wasting. At 62 minutes, we've got Servi, and he needed a that special spray. But he's getting in the way, and he's getting less time wasted because now they're starting to attack. What else did I take notes? At 66 minutes, there's an off the post, and the goalkeeper had a good save, and I had goalkeeper envy again. At 71 minutes, Farias gets a yellow card, and it's for a foul on Pizzi, which I just thought was hilarious. And then he complains about it. And either way, Fidens now have a ton of cards from this game. So, pretty much their squad has yellows. And then the one guy's got a red. So, I don't know what they're doing, but they're not going to be very aggressive in the next one, hopefully, because otherwise they're all just going to get benched or
They
sent
had
out, whatever.
4 guys get suspended for the next game.
Yeah, almost everybody the yellows was 5, the 5th yellow. And I was like, bye, guys. Have a good week. Or I guess 2 weeks off if they don't go to the national team, right? 72 minutes, Rafa with what looked like to have potential, but then he didn't chip it over the goalkeeper, so that was disappointing. And then at 74 minutes, he gets a second chance, and he finally scored. It was also nice to see Luisão and Eliseu celebrate on the bench. I loved it. The Fidens goalkeeper told the fans to stop throwing, so that was good for him because, it was in Fidens, right? So he was like, everybody settle down, whatever. So I like that. I like when I see the team tell them to settle down and shut up because
that was so stupid.
It just ruins everybody. What?
No, it was the most stupidest thing ever. So Jonas takes a shot, and all the fans start throwing stuff at him. Like, what the hell?
But we were doing the same thing to them.
Because I was watching the game and I didn't see that. But that's all right. All right.
That's what I was talking about earlier. We have to stop too. Everybody has to stop.
No, we threw what I saw was that we threw a petardo. I didn't see us throw a bunch of stuff at the goalie. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't. If I missed it, I missed it. That's my bad. So I'll take your word for it.
And the pyro too. They were throwing stuff on the field.
I'll take your word for it, Cynthia.
Yeah. And then at 84 minutes, Rafa again has his third post hit. So I was like, come on, Rafa, stop. It's like he's practicing that. And then when he's in the game, he can't get out of it. So he needs to stop practicing that. And then again, 85 minutes, Rafa has another chance. So he had a really great game. I like seeing him in there. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we get the win. We move on.
All right. So I'm going to get my thoughts out of the way. I think we're going to start realizing why Rafa was worth the money that we spent. Obviously,
Finally.
I don't know. I never doubted him. He just never got the playing time, and plus, he wasn't given the freedom that he's been given this year. Like the fact that Rafa can be anywhere on the field, that's where he's good. Like he's not on the right, he's not in the middle, and he's not on the left. He's everywhere. He's whatever the play needs him, he's there. I thought it was really good. Had a very good game. Could have scored probably 4 or 5 goals, to be honest with you. But the goalkeeper did a good job saving about 2 shots. He squandered 1 opportunity and then hit the post a couple times. So, but this win was never in doubt because Benfica was clearly the superior side, and eventually a goal was going to come up. I saw Bruno saying that you guys had to go down. They had to go down to 10 men for you guys to score, which I think that's crazy because we were totally dominating them, and obviously at one point, most likely than not, we were going to get a goal. And the goal comes from a play that's reviewed by the VAR, but it's rightfully onside. I don't know why some people were doubting it after the first replay. I thought it was quite obvious that he was onside, but the referee got the right call, and then Benfica kept piling up the pressure a little bit, but then Feirense also tried to step up. They created a couple of chances, but nothing major. And then when they were trying to attack us a little bit more, Raul makes a very good pass to Rafa and slots it on, makes it 2-0. But yeah, it's a game that we should have won in the first half comfortably, it's undoubtedly a good result. And the sending off also of the second player was very well justified. That was a terrible tackle.
Yeah, that was a 2-footed tackle against Almeida.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he had any intentions of hurting the player, but the way that he went into that challenge was really bad. So I'm not surprised that he saw red. All right, well, let me get Patrick first, and then Steven, and then we'll go to Bruno because we all know how Bruno works. So, Patrick, thoughts on the game?
I'll point towards just a few details on the game. Really, I think that's where it was decided. I don't think Feirense ever started playing as well as they could have done. Benfica, much the same, but even then, still, I think obviously Benfica were the better side. And from the moment, I'm not saying that Benfica won because of the first red card. The red card was fair and all of that, in my opinion. But from then on, I think obviously Benfica's path to victory becomes a little bit clearer, and they can start being a bit more dominant and risky with their moves. And that's what happened in the second half. Vitória didn't hesitate much longer to bring on Jimenez, took off Grimaldo. I don't think there was an issue with Grimaldo, as far as I'm aware, but that substitution was made, and a few minutes later, with a stroke of luck, Jimenez puts Benfica ahead, and then he's involved in the second goal as well. I think I've mentioned this before, that Jimenez is an interesting player, and he brings something different to the table up front. But obviously, talking about the man that scored it, which you mentioned, Rafa, he's coming into a good patch of form, and I think what's helped him a lot is obviously this shape that Benfica have right now, 4-3-3. Whereas when you've got a 4-4-2, traditionally when it was Jonas and Mitroglou and sometimes Jimenez, obviously the wingers have got to work a lot harder, and difficult to have your moments in the final third like Rafa is having now. So he's one of the players in that 4-3-3 who's benefiting a lot, and it's a plus for Benfica because it's a different position, I think, to Sporting and Porto. I think Sporting and Porto are more full-on attack, whereas Benfica can be a little bit more methodical. Other guys like Servi and Zivkovic and Pizzi within that 4-3-3. Even Jonas is a bit creative. I don't think Benfica were that creative on the day, but further on, I think that distinction between the two styles that the three big teams are playing, I think it's all becoming a lot clearer. And as a result, I think that's why you see the likes of Servi and Rafa and Zivkovic having big ends to the season.
Mm-hmm. All right. Were you done, Patrick? It just kind of felt a little bit of, you were done, right?
Yeah, I was done here.
Okay, all right. Just making sure. All right, so Steven, I don't know if you saw this game, if you want to say something about it.
I didn't see the game, but I saw the highlights. As far as the game, I think Benfica were pretty comfortable throughout the game. Fidens, probably didn't start as well as they wanted to, playing at home. But I think once Benfica had control of the game, there was no chance for Fidens. As far as Rafa, I'm glad to see that he is playing well. I did doubt him a little bit in the beginning of the season because I felt like he wasn't up to par for what Benfica had paid for him. So it's good that he's getting into some good form, and that Benfica is also in good form right now. Hopefully they don't get that good of form. That way they can lose some points. That way Porto can continue their run for the league, of course.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Bruno, it's your turn, buddy. Looks like
all right.
There we go.
I mean, I was in a different screen.
All right.
I mean, overall, I'll start with Fidens. Fidens did nothing to win this game. I mean, they had only shots from distance. They really did nothing more than just shots. They really could not advance up the field. I mean, they looked very, very off. This wasn't the Fidens team of the beginning of the season. If you recall, in the beginning of the season, the first 5 weeks of the season, they were in the top 6 or 7, and now they're second to last on the table. As for Benfica, I really, and when I said this in the chat, I really believe if they had 11v11, they wouldn't have won this game. The way Fidens was defending, Benfica was, they were feeling the pressure of scoring. They couldn't score quick enough, and it seemed like they were nervous. Every shot that they took, they were like, "What the hell? Why isn't this ball going in?" And I really strongly believe that red card at the 41st minute was the key of the game. Thiago Silva, I think that's his name, Thiago Silva. I don't think that he did. That was for a yellow card. Was it a strong foul? Yeah. Was Rafa going to goal? No. He was actually drifting outside versus going to goal. So I think a yellow card. I don't know. The most debatable yellow card is the first one. To me, that's just not a yellow card at all. The second one, I don't even see. If you see that foul somewhere, maybe in the EPL, Champions League, or La Liga, I don't think that yellow card is even given. But that was the key of the game. He really didn't argue much. There's been some suspicion about him that he kind of did it on purpose, that kind of stuff. I don't want to believe that that's what's going on. Do I believe that he was careless and he didn't really care much about getting red carded? That I believe. I don't. He just didn't seem like he really cared. As for the tactical change when Raul Jimenez came on, I mean, he's your super sub, and it seems like every time you guys are in a bind, he comes in and he bails you guys out. And once he scored the first goal, and we have to sit here and I have to criticize the center back. What are you thinking? You have the ball completely controlled, and he tries to do a Ronaldo chop back, and he gives the ball away to Raul. You have the opportunity to clear the ball out over the end line, over the sideline, over so many different. He could have done so many different things. The one thing he decided to do was the worst of them all, and they paid the price. And right after that, I think the game was pretty much done at 1-0, and then eventually you got the insurance goal, and that's it. So that's my
All right.
analysis. I think Feirense is one of these teams that you took away Itebu, and I think they lost one other guy during the season. During the transfer window, they've never recovered.
Where did that table go?
Somewhere in Spain, from what I understand.
I think it was Las Palmas or something.
Yes, I think that's what it was.
I think he's a higher caliber player than that, but all right.
Well, if
All
you see
right.
your salary doubled, obviously you're gonna go.
Yeah, I know, but I just think he's a good player, though. Um. uh, all right. I think that pretty much wraps it up on Benfica. Then, I don't have much to add. I already, said my 2 cents on the first red. So, we move on with Benfica, only 2 points behind Porto. I believe the next game was Porto. They played Boa Vista. So, Bruno, take it away.
All right, let me bring that up for a second. Hold on.
All right.
All right,
We
here we
gotta be
go.
ready
So
for
we have
this. There we go.
Iker Casillas in goal, Maxi, Felipe Marcano, and Diogo Dalot. Herrera was the 6, Oliveira the 10. Actually, Oliveira the 8, Otavio was the 10, Ricard Pereira on the right, Brahimi on the left, and Abubakar up top. That was your starting 11 for Porto.
Yeah, and your thoughts on the game, or do you want to let Steven go first?
I mean, I'll take this one. I mean, I have to say that the goal in the second minute was the key of the game. It completely killed all the nerves that Porto had. But if you watch the game closely, even though they had a 1-goal lead, Porto did not look too comfortable. And that has a lot to, we have to give a lot of credit to Boavista. They defended very well. They actually possessed more than what I thought that they were capable of. Um, Porto had some chances to make the 2-0, but they were half chances. They weren't clear chances. And the team started to get a little more nervous. Now, defensively, I really don't think that Porto was challenged much. Casillas, I think, had maybe the one save I do clearly remember. Other than that, I don't really remember them, Boavista, really threatening. Herrera had a pretty decent game. Oliveira had a good game up until about the 60th minute, and then he started to get very sloppy. Otavio was, I think, the letdown of the game. He just did not do a good job creating. He couldn't get the ball enough. Every time he did get the ball, he was getting fouled. And Boavista figured it out that once they fouled him, he was getting extremely frustrated. And then after that, that's when he was off his game. He couldn't make a pass correctly. He couldn't cross. I mean, he was off. Brahimi was very marked. He was trying to create some things. He had one or two good moves, and that's about it. Ricard Pereira, I thought, had a very good game at right mid and then at right back. And then and Abubakar looked a lot better than he did the previous week. Porto made some changes. Oliver Torres, without question, helped possess the ball more. We were able to hold on to the ball and circulate the ball a lot more, forcing Boavista to defend more than what they've wanted. Corona on the right was a 0. He's back to his regular form of sucking. And then Gonçalo Paciencia, he was definitely a guy that I thought that was trying to do a lot more he was trying too hard. That's basically what I'm trying to say. He was trying too hard. But at the end of the day, Porto got the insurance goal. It was a blunder. Yes, people are questioning Wagner, and yes, Wagner is potentially suing people that has put into a question his professionalism. And I think a lot of people are forgetting that Boa Vista and Porto are very big rivals. You can see the difference when Boa Vista plays Porto versus any other team in the league. They come very, very motivated to play, and they play very hard, and they play very tough. And the result was 2-0, and I think it was a just result, 3 points. I would take the score and the result over the performance. So I don't know what else you would really want me to say about that. I'll take those 3 points any day.
All right. So Steven, it's your turn to weigh in.
Well, based on everything Bruno was saying, I do agree with him on that. And if you look at the statistics, it looks like Porto was pretty dominant. I mean, we had about 10 corners compared to Boavista's 3 corners, about 5 shots on target. Didn't commit too many fouls. We didn't get as many yellows as Boavista. So I think Boavista did struggle a little bit, but we weren't that great either. We had our chances. And as Bruno says, Wagner made a mistake that got us the goal. And, whoever makes the most mistakes is most likely to lose. So I think in that aspect, it was a very good win for us. Well-deserved. And, again, whoever makes the most mistakes usually loses. So, good win for Porto.
Mm-hmm. All right. Patrick.
Yeah, and to me, I think Bruno was right to centre his analysis early on the first goal. I think as we spoke about this through quite some depth last week, just how important it is to get that early goal, because when you play teams that are slightly inferior to you, at some point they will look to frustrate you, and in combination with that, you whoever it may be starts to get a lot more frantic about what it does. So for Porto to come in, having lost the game before, for them to come in and score within 2 minutes, it's pretty much what they would have wanted. And then we had a bit of a game where I don't think that the quality of the chances being conjured up, but at either end were much good. Boavista had some openings when they attacked, but they just didn't get that real chance to hurt Porto, and I don't think Porto really ever found their stride in the attacking third to then also add to their advantage. And by the end of it, I think we look at the goal that Hector Herrera managed to pick up, which obviously was a criminal mistake from the Boavista goalie, and I think that killed the game off from Boavista's side. Porto and clinch an important victory. Every win from now on will be important for any of the top 3 sides, and this is one less hurdle for them. That's it.
Cynthia, I don't know if you...
The boys have all said it perfectly. The only thing that I wanted to add is that I think the VAR was used to take back a red down to a yellow, and it disallowed the PK because the guy slipped when taking it, and there was a second touch. To be honest, I didn't realize he had done the second touch. I was like, wow, look at this guy still score while he fell down. And then, the goalie runs up with two fingers up, and I'm like, I don't understand what he's saying. And then finally, yeah, I know. I was like, what's happening? Why is he saying peace? I don't understand. And then, they do the VAR. I'm like, oh. So, I mean, that was a good catch by the VAR. And bringing that red card down to a yellow was also a good catch. So I was pleased to see that. And I think it's sad that I can pinpoint one game where I thought the VAR was properly used, So if all games could do this, that would be great.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'll I'll sign off on what everybody said, but I do believe that Boavista was a little bit more threatening than these Porto fans are trying to make it out to be. But they were only really half chances. But I believe they were in control for a little bit of the game, and it felt a lot like last year's game where Boavista was really threatening but couldn't get the goal, and it was exactly the same thing. They were threatening. Mateos had a very good shot because he just made a very good save on, but they just couldn't score, and that second goal was really a terrible mistake by Wagner, and then he diving the wrong direction too, which the way that he approached the whole play was terrible, and Porto got the second goal, and that killed off the game. I do believe if that mistake doesn't happen, in this game stretches all the way to like 80 minutes in and still 1-0, then the 1-1 is a very plausible result. Okay. Does anybody want to say anything else, or can I move on?
No, you've killed it.
All right. So before I move on, I mentioned it's off topic, but I was saying that Bruno, when he was like talking, was like soft. It was, what he kept saying, and I said, at least he's not a wrestling fan. I just want to say it's because when you try to argue with someone in that community and you give like 5 or 6 arguments, they always come back to one simple thing, and it's impossible to have a discussion with them. So that's what I was saying. Thank God he's not a wrestling fan. That was just because of that, not because of anything else. I just wanted to clear that up just in case. Because I know that there's people that listen to the podcast that are wrestling fans, and I just wanted to say,
okay.
That's why I said that, okay?
Peter.
No, it's just...
Peter,
I'm just
do
saying,
yourself a favor. Go take a pee break.
Oh my God. No, it's just because, there's people like Mr. Mel that listen to the podcast, and I don't want them to think anything else. It's just that it's really hard to argue with people.
Alex, he's coming for you. Watch out.
By the way, where's Hugo? Is the dump truck, or not the dump truck, but the garbage truck still backing up, or what's going on?
I don't know, man. You'll have to ask him yourself.
Hugo,
anyway.
I was waiting for you, buddy. I mean, come on, man. You had your boy Patrick. He was like, man, Bruno, you better have your A game. This guy's going to come out firing. Bro.
It was like a UFC fight, wasn't it? Oh, no, my ankle's broken. I can't show up. Hugo.
Why don't we add Hugo to the WhatsApp group chat maybe then? And then we'll see what happens.
Oh, God, no. Then I will turn off notifications. I don't want to be...
Patrick, if you think that's a threat to me, obviously, he can't even show up for a podcast, but he's going to show up for a chat. Come on.
He broke his ankle.
Oh, he broke his ankle?
Right.
No, I'm saying in case it was like a UFC fighter. I broke my ankle.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I mean, Hugo had his biggest promoter, which was Patrick, and I mean, Patrick he's disappointed. I know he is.
I always believed in you, Bruno. I just wanted you to, come prepared.
He wanted to take him down a peg. Get him off that pedestal that you're in.
Hugo, whenever you're ready, buddy, I'm here for you.
Bruno's ready to fight. He's already got his boxing gloves on.
And his zipper's ready.
I know what it is. Hugo is he's like the mole. He's buried himself underground. He's in shame.
Oh, you don't want to bring him. Oh, Jesus Christ. Just keep adding fire.
I kind of want to. That's why I'm going on.
Keep adding fuel to the fire then. All right. Anyway, let's move on to the final
game of today's episode. Beep.
And it was Sporting playing Rio Ave. Thank you very much. So, Patrick, I'll let you take this one away.
Yeah, so for this one, almost a full-strength side from what Jesus usually picks. So we had Patricio in net, Coentrão, Mathieu, Coates and Piccini along the back with a midfield three of William Carvalho, Bataglia, Bruno Fernandes and Gelson Martins and Ruben Ribeiro on the flanks. Bastos starting this one in attack. And for me, this game, I think much of the focus goes on to what Rio Ave did, and we've mentioned Rio Ave sporadically on this show, and how obviously we all are well aware that they're a very good footballing side, but as of late they've put in some poor performances and picked up some ugly looking results from their perspective. and what they did different here as opposed to when they played, the likes of Portimonense and Benfica and Porto and all them lot, is that they decided to revert to five at the back. Obviously, we all know that Ruben Ribeiro is now at Sporting. He was an important tool for them. Also, Francisco Giraldes, who's on loan from Sporting, can't play in this one. So, it was inviting for Rio Ave to go five at the back for this one. But, their style stayed the same, and they continue to try to play out from the back. And if you look at the team on paper, you'd be expecting a defensive performance, but it wasn't like that at all from Rio Ave. They always look to play from the back and set up attacks. And I want to give Sporting some credit as well, because they pressed Rio Ave superbly, and they didn't give them a single breath to take. It more or less played into Sporting's hands with the way they executed their plan. And for me, really, from first to last minute, it was Sporting all over. We were winning the ball high up the pitch. We were creating chances. Just before Gelson scored his first, halfway through the first half, we had a string of chances. Dos missed a one-on-one, and going down with a strange little cross hit the post. Bruno Fernandes hit the crossbar. Dos headed it. Casu tipped Dos' head over from the rebound. There was a string of chances which Sporting could have taken, and that transferred over to the second half. Going down, hit the post again. Bruno Fernandes clipped the post, going in one-on-one as well. Before Dost killed the game off. It was all Sporting, and Rio Ave have got a lot of picking up to do, because they are a team that's it's quite upsetting for me, because even though I don't like Rio Ave in any way, I have no affinity towards them. I can admire the way they play, and that their style of football is something I'd like to see more teams in the league follow. But obviously, something's gone wrong halfway through the season for them. Not just looking at what they've got up top and who they've let go, more as a structure that they look very leaky in defence. For the football that they play and the way they conduct themselves, I'd like to see them fix up a bit more. Otherwise, they will have more games like this one and the ones that they've had against other big teams in recent months.
All right. So to make sure that Cinti isn't the last one, I'll ask her what she thought about the game now.
Oh, thanks. I watched it. It was a typical Sporting game, and they did well. There were a few times that Casio still made me have goalie envy, which, again, just awesome. And otherwise, Patrick he got the nail right on the head. He always does. So good breakdown there, Patrick.
Thank you.
Yeah, he always seems to do a very good job. All right, Stephen, I don't know if you want to say anything about this game.
Well, I agree with everything Patrick said, and the analysis is very good. I would like to say that, it was a good win for Sporting, for a team that is sitting in fifth place, which is Rio Ave. Also, I noticed that Sporting has had very good games against Rio Ave in the past. Based on what I'm seeing, is that, in the last 8 games that Sporting has played Rio Ave, they've come out with 6 wins, 1 loss, and a tie. So I feel like they play Rio Ave very comfortably. In the last game they played against Rio Ave, which was at a Rio Ave's house, they got a 1-0 win there. So I feel like Sporting figured out Rio Ave, and, they have their number. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, Bruno.
I mean, without question, it seems like Rio Ave.
That was loud.
It seems like Rio Ave, I think at this point, without Ruben Ribeiro, which was probably their most dynamic offensive threat not on the team anymore, this team has really dropped in terms of production. And then you add no André Giraldes, who is an important, influential player for Riwav. That's another big drop off. And then, and then I always say this about Riwav. This is a team that always wants to play like a big team. They just don't have the personnel for it. And I give them credit. They want to play eye to eye, but they just don't have the resources. And when you don't have the resources, it's very difficult. And they lost, and they lost big, and they're going to continue to lose if they don't change some things up. I mean, yes, I get the coach, and I give him a lot of credit. Yeah, we can't. We're not going to change our way to play and all that other stuff. That's cool, but I mean, you need the points right now. I mean, right now they're comfortably still in fifth place, but if they keep on dropping a couple more games, this is a team that's going to, fifth place might not be a reality anymore.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm not gonna wait on a game that I barely paid any attention to. So,
Always a hater.
No, it was just, I didn't watch the first half, and when I tuned in the 50 of something minutes, Sporting were getting opportunities, so I was just like, yeah, whatever. So I sat on TV, but Sporting dominated basically the second half. That's what I saw. So that's my 2 cents on the game. All right, so now we got to get down to some other business before we close out the podcast. I want to say that there's not going to be an episode next week because we decided, freaking national team stuff. I don't know why it even exists, but there's going to be 2 games that Portugal's going to play.
More hate. What is wrong with you?
I don't like national teams. I think it's stupid. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, just buy your Euro jacket and get out of here.
Get me Benfica. That's all I want.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I don't like friendlies. I think they're stupid and just whatever. Anyway, Portugal is going to play Egypt and the Netherlands. I'm going to delegate that to Patrick. He's going to talk about it. In 2 weeks, he's gonna say what he thought about both those games because he's good at analyzing stuff. So leave that to him. But yeah, there's not gonna be a podcast next week. So enjoy your Easter if you're Christian. I think Easter is next week. So enjoy that. So I don't know if you guys want to predict those games. I don't think it matters that much. What do you guys think?
Why not?
The national teams?
All right. So Bruno said why not, so let's go with that. All right. So Portugal, Egypt. Somebody go first.
3-1.
Thank you, Bruno. All right.
3-1, eh? For who, Egypt?
What about you?
No.
What kind of question?
Let's do like a 2-0 for Portugal.
All right. 4-0 Portugal. Why not?
Epa.
Patrick.
I think I'll go for 1-1.
Do they got that Mo
Because
guy?
obviously he likes the freaking... Yeah, they got Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Exactly.
It's just Mo.
No,
He goes by Mo because he's cool.
And then Patrick is like, let's give him another boring, Portugal game because that's what people want. So 1-1.
Yeah.
All right, Steven.
1-2. I think Portugal's going to lose the game because in the past,
Aww.
Negative Nancy.
They start out with games really bad once they start meeting up for the national team. And then I'm a big fan of Mohamed Salah, so I think he'll be very dangerous. And that's my take on that.
All right.
Salty Steven.
Wow.
That's how I'm feeling.
Portugal, Netherlands. Let's go with the same order. Why not? So, Bruno, you're up first.
I'm a big Dutch fan. I like the way they play, but
Are
I
you a
don't
Ronald
see.
Koeman fan?
No, as a player, yes. Not as a manager. He's not very good.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, I think Portugal has had Holland's number. I'm gonna go 2-0.
All right.
Where is that game, by the way?
I think they're both in Switzerland. Because why the fuck
Oh, they're
not?
both in Switzerland?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. Because, yeah. But I'll
Because,
quickly
yeah?
double check that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because, yeah.
very scientific reasoning.
I don't know, but, it is what it is. I'll double check, though. I'm going to double check. Cynthia, can you wait? Give us your prediction, though, first.
I was going to say 2-0, but he took it. So I'm going to say 3-0, just because.
All right, so that's my scoreline. So
Well, now you have to move.
no, it's fine. I'll go with the same one. So there you go, 3. No, I'm gonna go 3-1. There you go. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Holland were a bit of a mess in qualification, so I'm inclined to say that it's going. Yeah, just a little bit. I'm inclined to say it's going to be 2-1 to Portugal, but Big Bastos is going to score a goal for.
There you go.
lot.
See,
he's not scoring against Patricio, man. Get the hell out of here.
He had the same ideas.
It's a pact. It's a pact. Portugal wins, but Dost gets a little bit of joy.
No, Dost.
Yeah.
No. You only get joy in Portugal. And even then, it's
so
moderate.
Both games are in Switzerland. The second one against Holland is in Geneva. I don't know. It's Geneva. I don't know how to say it. I just think it's like
Geneva.
Geneva is the name.
Is it Genebra? I don't know if it's like.
Who's Genebra? That might be how they say it.
Geneva. It's Geneva. It's in Geneva. That's Switzerland.
Geneva. Okay, there you go.
That's how you say it in Portuguese.
Yeah, exactly. He's just saying it in a different language.
Yeah, I'm just saying it in a different language because I wasn't sure.
He's saying in Portuguese it's Genebra.
Yeah, but he was saying Genebra, which is kind of fun.
I was trying to say it with,
I petition. We shall now call it Genebra.
All right, that's a cool name. So Steven.
Is that the land of the red velvet Quakers?
No, he's from.
It's clearly the land of the broad, Genebra. Come on now, catch on.
Okay, he's from Ireland, but anyway.
Sorry, Steven, you're up. What's your?
I'm gonna
prediction.
Because I think Holland has something to prove since they didn't qualify for the World Cup. And then if my result is correct about the Egypt game, then Portugal's not going to want to lose that game, so they'll play a little bit better to get a tie.
All right.
I don't like your reasoning at all. You're very negative. Because it's like spot on, and I don't like it.
Well, let's see if the negative Nancy is going to be negative about Porto's next game, which I believe is against Belenenses, right?
That's 4-0.
Bruno, can you is it Belenenses that you guys play?
It is Belenenses. It's at Belenenses.
Is it at home or away? Okay, at play. All right.
No, it's away.
All right, so you go first because you're the Patrices.
Well, listen, I was looking at the last 4 games. We have 3 draws and 1 win away at Belenenses. It's going to be a very difficult game. We all know how Belenenses comes to play against Porto. I say no, they don't. They don't. I say Porto 1-0, very, very late.
All right, Steven.
I'm going to say 2-0. I know we do have a tough time over there, and I think we'll get an early goal. And then to seal the game, we'll probably get a goal in the second half.
All right, well, I'm going to say it's going to be 4-0 to Porto.
Holy shit!
They get Danilo back. They get Alex Telles back. They
We get Suarez back.
Likely not, but they won't have Marega back, but they'll have Suarez back.
No, what do you mean? What do you mean? We'll get Suarez back. Yeah. Suarez was already on the bench last game.
So there you go. Suarez, Alex Telles, Danilo. Porto are going to glide past Belenenses like they're nothing.
Well, they're they're nothing. I mean, they usually listen. But hold on a second. I mean, remember, Sealers does a very, very good job tactically with his teams.
I mean, that's fair. They did play well against Benfica, so but I'm just feeling Porto coming back full strength. This might be
I
too
like
much.
your feeling in this one.
I don't. All right, Cynthia.
Come on, 1-0 Belém.
What did
It's
you
my
say?
grandpa's 1-0 for Belenenses. I said 1-0
Oh, I
Belém.
knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
It's my grandpa's companions team. Shut your faces, guys.
I know that's exactly
It's
because
for
of that.
Rosarinha.
All right. Well, Patrick.
I'm torn between 1-1 and 2-1 to Porto, but
I like
think
your
I'm gonna
1-1.
go
Go
for
with 1-1,
1-1.
Patty. Come on.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
going
you
for
went
1-1.
1-1. All right.
Team
Fingers crossed,
Belém.
Patrick's right.
Patrick, what is the matter with you, Patrick?
Yeah. All right.
I don't know.
I don't know what Sporting's next game is. Do you know, Patrick? I honestly haven't
I think it's
checked
Braga.
yet. Oh. All right. Well, you go first.
We're walking away with a 2-1 win.
Confident. Well,
Always. Can't be scared of Braga.
all right, Bruno.
Famous last words.
Who's up next?
Sporting. Braga Sporting.
Well, I think a lot of you guys would agree with me. I mean, Braga has been one of the highest scoring teams in the last month. I mean, they've blown out everybody that they've played. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, but I say 3-2 Braga.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Exactly what I was thinking. I go with the same scoreline. So Cynthia.
That was my scoreline.
All right, we all going
You
for
guys,
Braga.
man. Sorry.
All right.
No, 3-2 or 3-1. I was going to say, well, I was leaning towards 3-2 because Bajdost. But yeah, 3-2.
Because last thirst.
Sammy on my timeline always. Na 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 na
I
na.
sang that. I sang that once.
Every time he
pod,
says it,
think.
I see it.
It's Steven.
I agree with as far as Boone said that Braga is a very high scoring team, but I think Braga might fold under pressure. I mean, we saw against Porto where they got blown out themselves by us. So I think against Sporting, which is one of the biggest clubs, I think they're going to lose 3-0.
Jesus Christ!
Wow,
That's mean.
That would be wonderful. I would love to see that.
Wow.
Chokes up, so.
It would be awesome to get Patrick's score correct on the Porto game, and then Steven's score correct on the Sporting game. That would be really.
Well,
good.
hold on a sec. We haven't even talked about your club yet.
I know, but he's all excited.
I know. I don't remember who we play, so it's kind of. I'm gonna hope Cynthia knows. Cynthia, who do we play?
No, I don't have it. Wait 1 second.
All right, I'll wait. I know it's at the Luge. I think it might be. No, it's not Stubble because we play Stubble away.
No, we play Stubble away. It's going to be Guimarães.
Oh, right. Guimarães. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Easy for
Well, remember, before you make your predictions, we have to understand that Hurtado, for the second time this week, this year against Benfica, does not play because he's seen his 5th yellow.
Oh, no.
Let's not forget that. Well, that's their most important player.
That's
their most important player.
Peter?
Because I'm pretending to be surprised. No, it's... No,
and don't forget Rafinha is injured, so he's probably not going to play either.
Yeah, but he's really injured. At least nobody can say anything about that. He left on a stretcher or something. So,
he was tired. Stop it.
But 4-0 Benfica. That's it.
4-0. Jesus.
Guimarães aren't playing well. They're without the two of their best players.
Yeah. Did you forget who Guimarães is? Did you forget who Guimarães coach is?
Peseiro.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not even that good, so it's gonna be an easy win.
No, he's not.
Cynthia.
Well, with all this talk, it's like 7-0. But no, I'm going to be real and be like 3-0.
I thought you were gonna go with 2-0 to keep up the 2-0 scorelines 3 weeks in
No.
a row.
No, I'm doing 3-0. I know, right?
Steven.
For Benfica, I'm going to go with 3-0 as well. I think they'll have a comfortable win.
Hey.
Alright. Bruno.
This is simple. 5-0. The 7-0 scoreline is with Tondela. We all know that.
Oh,
Tondela's going to be coming inside the
I'm getting my
lose.
emails all mixed up.
They're gonna play 10 men, attacking. They forgot about how to defend. High line, and then we have Moreirense, and that's gonna be another 7-8-0.
Dude, last time Benfica played Moreirense in the last week of the league, Porto won the title. So I just
Don't tell him those stats.
No, hold on a second. Yeah, but he's being delusional because he forgets who the coach for Moreirense is.
No, it doesn't
coach
matter. I
from
was just
Moreirense
saying the last time we played Moreirense at home in the final game of the season, you guys were champions. So
Please tell
we
me
won that game 3-1, and you guys won also.
Please tell me when the last time.
On James Rodriguez.
Please tell me the last time Petit took points from Benfica.
Yeah, well, if I know, man, I don't care.
What else? I don't have those stats. Do you have those stats, Bruno?
Yeah, it's called none. Never did it.
Patrick.
I'm joining the gang 3-0 to Benfica.
Hey.
All right. I don't know what that was, Cynthia, but that was all right. All right. So that pretty much covers it for this week. So again, we're not going to be on next week. We're not going to be on the week after that because national team
ruins your life. We know.
Exactly.
Jesus.
Terrible. Anyway.
You ruined it. Now people can't check in and see if I'm going to be in on next week.
They're going to have to tune in 2 weeks.
Oh.
Bro, you get a snow day, you're staying at home. That's all I'm saying, get another snow day, you're at home.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
You're going to have to
No, man, I got spring season.
Whatever.
It's gonna snow. It's gonna snow in 2 weeks. Just watch.
Maybe for him, I don't want snow. Don't put that on me.
Yeah, for real, I don't want snow either.
Shut up, you did.
We all know that what Peter does during snow days. He plays with his action figure.
I don't have snow. I wish I had snow. We don't have snow.
Waiting for that poster to fall off the ceiling.
I don't have the poster.
I love you so much, Finn Baller. Baller. I love you so much, Finn Baller.
Oh my God!
You ready to close out the pod?
I'm more than ready. Anyway, so thank you, Steven, for coming on.
Do you have low ceilings?
No. Thanks.
You don't have low ceilings? Jump on the bed.
I'm not going to thank you, Bruno, and I'm not going to thank you, Cynthia, because you guys are mean.
You're welcome.
So anyway,
you love it.
Anyway, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks, where we're going to be talking about the games that just went on in the league and a quick review of the Portuguese national team. Till then, bye bye.
Ciao, Laura.
Have a good night, everybody.